Everyone wears a mask, but what if I told you that with just 4 psychological games, you could make anyone remove it themselves? In a world where deception is the default, you must master the art of provocation. These are not ordinary tactics, these are Machiavellian mind games designed to make even the most cunning reveal their true motives. Let me tell you something that most people will never admit aloud. People don't want to be seen. They want to be admired, believed, and obeyed. They want to walk into a room and control perception, to wear a polished mask and convince the world it's their face. But what happens when you hold a mirror up to that mask? What happens when they see themselves flawed, contradictory, and exposed, reflected back with perfect precision? They break. That is the power of the mirror trap. The mind game is simple in theory but devastating in execution. You don't confront. You don't accuse. You reflect. You imitate their gestures. You echo their words. You adopt their tone, values, or even their contradictions. You match their rhythm, their moral stance, their emotional tone. The closer you mirror them, the more they see themselves, and not their projected self, but their actual self, the one they try to disguise beneath civility, charm, and virtue. Why does it work? Because people rarely examine themselves honestly. They live in narratives, illusions they've built to survive, and when you mirror them perfectly, they cannot help but sense the disconnect between who they pretend to be and who they truly are. They become unsettled. And that is your moment. That is when the cracks begin to show. You walk into a room and someone tries to dominate with confidence. Mirror their confidence, but just slightly more controlled. They'll feel the threat of imitation. You speak to someone who plays the victim, reflect their suffering, but take it just a step further. Watch their discomfort rise. If their pain is authentic, they will find solidarity. If it's manipulation, they will recoil because they feel their weapon being used against them. People don't like being imitated because imitation forces them to see. If they are inconsistent, they'll grow suspicious. If they are dishonest, they'll feel exposed. If they're hiding something, they'll believe you already know. They'll start over-explaining, over-defending, or deflecting altogether. Their unconscious mind screams, "This person is dangerous," not because you said anything, but because you showed them their own reflection, and it wasn't flattering. You want to know someone's real character. Don't ask them questions. Don't provoke them with accusations. Just become them, subtly, quietly, without announcement. Mirror their thinking, mirror their priorities, mirror their fears. If their motives are pure, they'll align with you. If their motives are hidden, they'll unravel like a scroll in the fire. Even kings and conquerors fall to this technique. If you stand before a powerful man and reflect his arrogance, he may see in you a rival. But if you reflect his justifications, his belief in destiny, in righteousness, in divine will, you can expose whether he truly believes in his cause or merely cloaks ambition in philosophy. The mirror does not judge. It merely shows what is, and that is terrifying to those who lie to themselves. But be warned, this is not mere mimicry. The mirror must be subtle. Too much and they'll feel mocked. Too little and they'll remain blind. The art lies in balance. Reflect, but never overshadow. Let them see enough of themselves to question, but not so much that they retreat into denial. You are not a performer. You are a prism, bending their light just enough to split it into its true colors. This tactic works best in intimate settings, conversations, negotiations, interviews, confrontations. Anywhere people present a persona is where the mirror trap becomes a weapon. In such moments, people are actively managing their image. And when you mirror that image, you create friction between their projected identity and their authentic self. It's in that friction, the micro expressions, the hesitations, the veiled aggression, that their true motives begin to surface. Watch closely. The honest will relax in the presence of their own reflection. The dishonest will squirm. The narcissist will grow hostile. The insecure will retreat. And the manipulative will begin to reframe, to reposition, to desperately adjust their mask because they feel it slipping. You haven't accused them. You haven't exposed them publicly. All you've done is become their echo. But in that echo is a storm. Most people lie not to you. but to themselves. They wear masks not for deception, but for survival. And yet the mirror shows what words cannot hide. It's not about confronting evil, it's about revealing intention, because once someone sees what they truly are, once you see it, you are no longer in the dark. You know exactly what they'll do next. You've seen their pattern, their blueprint, their hidden truth, and they know that you've seen it. Let me tell you a secret known only to those who govern minds, not just empires. Words can reveal, but silence can extract. You see, most people are terrified of silence. It unsettles them, exposes them, strips away the comfort of distraction. Silence is not the absence of power, it is the pressure of presence. And when used with intent, it becomes a vice that tightens around the mind of your target until they voluntarily release what they would have otherwise taken to the grave. The silence gambit is not for the impulsive or the impatient. It requires restraint. It requires the ability to watch someone unravel without the need to interfere. It is the art of creating a void so heavy that the other person cannot bear it, and in trying to fill it, they reveal the very things they tried to hide. Silence is a provocation, not a retreat. It is not weakness. It is strategy. When you stop talking, when you lean back, lower your gaze, and give someone your full but unreadable attention, you force them to confront themselves. Most people don't speak to communicate, they speak to control the narrative. But when that narrative is not affirmed, when it floats in empty space unanswered, they begin to panic. They start to explain too much, justify too soon, and overshare details you never asked for. In this unraveling, truth leaks through the cracks. Think of a courtier pleading innocence, a lover justifying their late return, a politician spinning an image. Their power lies in rhythm, in flow, in the ability to keep talking uninterrupted. But when that flow is broken, when you respond with silence, they are forced to meet the echo of their own words, and that echo is deafening. You're not confronting them, you're simply watching, but in your silence, they hear judgment, suspicion, and the pressure of being seen. This tactic is most potent during conversations that matter, moments when power shifts, disputes, confessions, negotiations. You simply don't rush to respond. You let your silence drag, just long enough to make them wonder if you believe them. You let their sentence hang in the air like smoke. And in that suspended silence, you watch them twitch. You'll see the fingers fidget, the breath shorten, the eyes dart sideways in search of validation. This is not dead air, it is psychological warfare. The insecure will try to impress you with more words. The dishonest will begin layering unnecessary details. The manipulative will start asking you questions, trying to regain control. And the guilty will confess without knowing they're confessing. All because your silence makes them confront their own motives without the buffer of your reaction. In Machiavelli's court, silence was never neutral. A silent man was feared more than an eloquent one. Why? Because no one knew what he had seen, what he had understood, or what he intended to do next. He held power simply by withholding. He could not be manipulated because he offered no surface to grip. You must become that man, the one who listens without giving away what he believes, the one whose silence demands explanation. But this game is delicate. Your silence must not feel like absence. It must feel like pressure. Your body language, your eyes, your presence, they must signal that you are engaged, but unmoved. You are watching, not ignoring. You are absorbing, not yielding. You are drawing out the truth, not through confrontation, but through tension. Even in negotiations, the silence gambit is devastating. You make your offer, then nothing, no defense, no pitch, just stillness, and watch how quickly the other side begins to bargain with themselves. They'll fill the void with concessions, assumptions, and compromise, because silence, to the undisciplined, feels like rejection. It feels like dominance, and people rush to end it by giving you what they think you want. And when conflict arises and emotions run high, silence becomes a mirror. Speak less. Let the other party speak more. Let them reveal their thought process, their insecurities, their hidden agendas. When you interrupt, you steer. When you listen silently, they expose themselves. The one who remains quiet in the storm learns where every lightning bolt comes from. And once you know their pattern, they can no longer surprise you. People fear silence because it forces self-awareness. Most humans avoid stillness like death. It reminds them of their doubts, their guilt, their real intentions. But you must embrace it. Wield it like a blade. Make others fill the space with their own weaknesses, their own contradictions, their desperate attempt to be seen as innocent or noble or strong. You will learn more in 1 minute of silence than in an hour of dialogue. Not because they told you, but because you watched them tell on themselves without realizing it. There are many ways to unmask a man. You can confront him, interrogate him, trap him in contradictions. But these are brutish methods. Noisy, obvious, easily defended against. The true strategist, the one who understands the art of control, does not force the truth. He invites it to reveal itself. He builds a door, opens it slightly, and waits for the truth to walk through willingly. And the most elegant door of all is a lie. You see, human beings are mirrors. When you show vulnerability, they reflect it. When you confess a secret, they feel compelled to share one of their own. It's an ancient instinct buried beneath layers of social conditioning, the need for emotional balance. But here lies the twist. The confession you give them is false, crafted, sharpened, and delivered with precision. You bait them with a lie, and they respond with their truth. Imagine you're speaking to someone whose intentions you question. You don't challenge them. Instead, you lean in and offer something that sounds deeply personal. A mistake, a flaw, a failure. You say, "I shouldn't tell you this, but I once." And you give them something believable, not dramatic, not overacted, just sincere enough to feel real. The moment you do, they lower their defenses. They think they've been given an advantage. They think you've exposed a weakness. That illusion makes them feel superior, secure, and that's when they start speaking. What they say next is not random. It's calculated, but not by them. It's a reaction. They're calibrating themselves to your false confession. If they've been lying to you, manipulating you, plotting behind the scenes, they will take the opportunity to either extract more from you or to reveal a part of their own game, thinking they are matching your level of trust. That's the beauty of it. You didn't ask for their secret. You earned it by handing them a decoy of your own. But here's what most people never realize. When someone reacts to your false confession, they don't just reveal their character, they reveal their strategy. The opportunist will test your limits. The loyal one will protect you. The manipulator will try to exploit the weakness they think they've discovered. Every reaction becomes a thread, and if you pull it gently, patiently, their entire motive begins to unravel. This mind game doesn't operate on logic, it targets emotion. Logic can be guarded. Emotion is impulsive. When you confess something, true or not, it triggers empathy, curiosity, or competition. They may feel compelled to top your story, to match your honesty, or to leverage your perceived flaw. In any of those responses, they are no longer strategizing from a place of control. They are reacting to you, and when they react, they slip. You don't need to say much. A simple phrase like, "I've always been afraid of people abandoning me," or "I have a habit of trusting the wrong people," can detonate a landmine in the psyche of the person in front of you. If they are genuine, they will offer you reassurance or share their own version of vulnerability. If they are dangerous, they will file that information away as a weapon, or worse, they will pounce on it immediately. Either way, they reveal themselves. In Machiavelli's world, this was not cruelty. This was survival. He understood that people present what is useful, not what is true. And to uncover the truth, you must become the architect of illusion. A well-placed lie is not deception. It is a mirror that reflects someone else's nature. The false confession is not a trick. It is a test. The more subtle the lie, the more powerful the result. You must sound sincere, but not rehearsed. Vulnerable, but not broken. Your delivery is everything. Make it personal. Make it casual. Make it seem like it slipped out unintentionally. People trust what feels accidental. They are suspicious of what feels staged. But when they believe your false confession is real, their response will always be real. And do not miss the subtle cues. When you deliver the lie, watch their face. the flicker in the eyes, the breath, the hesitation, the urge to console or the urge to control. These are signals, reactions, and within them lies the evidence of who they truly are beneath the image they show the world. There's a strange paradox to this technique. By giving something fake, you receive something real. By pretending to be vulnerable, you reveal strength. And by offering a lie, you unlock the truth, not because you demanded it, but because you made them want to give it. That is the essence of power, not domination, not coercion, but orchestration. You become the conductor of their confession. And once you've heard their hidden notes, you will know exactly how the rest of the song ends loyalty. The word sounds noble, doesn't it? It's spoken in whispers between lovers, sworn in blood between soldiers, promised in boardrooms and broken in silence. But here's what no one tells you. Loyalty is not declared, it is tested. Anyone can swear loyalty when there's nothing to lose, but the truth emerges only when you present someone with a quiet ultimatum, when their benefit, their comfort, or their self-interest stands on one side, and you stand on the other. This is the loyalty test. Not a question, not an accusation, a situation, a crafted scenario that silently asks, will they choose you or themselves? The answer never lies in their words. It lies in their decisions. Because most people, when given the choice, will not stab you in the chest. They will choose themselves while smiling to your face. And that, my friend, is betrayal dressed in velvet. You don't announce this test. You don't say, prove your loyalty. That's for fools. The intelligent way is to observe, to engineer a moment where your interest and theirs no longer align. It could be small, a favor that brings them no benefit, a risk where they must defend you without a reward, a request where saying yes costs them something. And when that moment comes, you do nothing except watch. You'll know everything you need to know from hesitation, from silence, from the way their eyes flicker as they calculate. That pause, those few seconds where they weigh your value against their convenience. That's the true face of their loyalty. And the longer they hesitate, the more you've already lost. You must understand, most people are loyal to their needs, not to you. They are loyal to what you represent: status, security, connection, power. But when keeping you close costs more than they are willing to pay, their mask slips. Some will excuse themselves with grace. Others will pretend nothing happened. A rare few will sacrifice something real to stand beside you. Those are the ones who understand loyalty not as a transaction, but as a principle. But do not confuse obedience with loyalty. A servant who always says yes is not necessarily loyal. He may fear you, need you, or simply have no better option. But present him with an opportunity where he must choose between betraying you and bettering himself. And if he says yes to you when no one is watching, then you have found something rare, something you can use, something you can trust, not emotionally, but strategically. This test applies everywhere. In personal relationships, create a moment where standing by you offers no gain. In business, observe who shares credit and who hoards it when success arrives. In politics, watch who stands with you during scandal, not celebration. Loyalty revealed under pressure is the only loyalty that counts. Everything else is costume and performance. But here's where the true mastery lies. Sometimes you must tempt them. Give them the opportunity to betray you, not openly but in small ways, a rumor they could correct, a decision they could influence, a chance to protect you that costs them nothing but might threaten their image. And when they take the easier path, when they step aside and let you fall, they have failed the test. They don't know you've tested them, but you do, and now you can plan accordingly. Even better is the double-layer test. Offer them a false betrayal. Present a scenario where it seems like betraying you will bring them advantage, but it is actually a trap. If they resist the temptation, they gain your favor. If they take the bait, you now know the truth and you control the fallout. This is not just testing loyalty, it is mapping the boundaries of their character. Machiavelli never believed in blind trust. He wrote that fortune favors the one who prepares for betrayal. And how do you prepare? By testing the soil before you build the castle. You check the loyalty of those around you not when you need them, but long before. You must know who will stand beside you when the daggers come out, because if you wait until then to find out, it is already too late. The real tragedy is not in betrayal. It's in discovering you were loyal to someone who never was. That is why you must never rely on promises or affection or shared memories. You rely only on tests. Situations, dilemmas, choices, you place them quietly in their path and stand back. The outcome reveals everything, not just about them, but about what they value more than you. Some will fail, some will surprise you, and some will choose you not because it benefits them, but because it defines them. Those are the ones you keep closest, not because they love you, but because they have proven they can be trusted when it matters most. So now you hold the instruments of revelation. Not swords, not lies, not threats, but 4 precise and silent tools. You mirror them, and they flinch at their own reflection. You stay silent, and they unravel to fill the void. You feed them a crafted lie, and they repay you with their hidden truth. You offer them a silent choice, and they expose where their loyalty truly lies. These are not games of cruelty. They are games of clarity. The world will not hand you honesty, you must provoke it. No mask is ever removed willingly. It must be peeled away, layer by layer, with skill and calculation, and that is what you now possess. You will walk among people who believe they are unreadable. Let them think so. Let them play their parts. And while they speak, while they charm, while they perform, you will listen, you will reflect, you will test, and in time every motive will surface, every intention will crack, and every disguise will collapse under its own weight. This is not manipulation, this is strategy, this is vision sharpened by experience. This is what it means to see the world as it is, not as it pretends to be. Because in the end, power does not belong to those who speak the loudest or deceive the best. It belongs to those who see through everyone and reveal nothing of themselves in return.